Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I want to share with you another interesting game which was played by Spanish FIDE master Fernando Visier Segovia. As you remember, a few days ago I published a game that was the Spanish Immortal, where Fernando Segovia demonstrated the power of his bishops, and it was in the comment section that one of my viewers, OICF Onos, mentioned about the following game which I'm going to share with you right now. So thank you OICF Onos for this wonderful game suggestion, and as you already have seen, dear chess lovers, in this video Segovia's opponent is the magician from Riga, the 8th world chess champion Mikhail Tal. The game was played in 1977 in Las Palmas. But before starting our game, make sure that you're subscribed in order not to miss my future uploads. In this game, Segovia had white pieces and he opened up with d4. Tal responded with d6, and after c4 he went for this rare red defense e5. Not a popular move, and usually Black is using this as a surprise weapon. With this move, Tal shows his eagerness of exchanging the queens very early, but in our game Segovia played aggressively and he pushed forward his d-pawn, played d5. I have to tell you that in here the most popular move is knight f3, after which the following variation can arise. But in our game after e5 we have d5. Of course, in here Tal could go for f5, but instead he chose bishop e7, knight c3, knight f6, e4, Black castles kingside. So we have a very typical old Indian defense type setup, where Black develops his king's bishop on e7 rather than by fianchetto on g7. Bishop d3, knight bd7, and after bishop e3 we have c6. Tal is starting undermining white's powerful center. h3, a6, knight ge2, c takes d5, c takes d5, and b5. White castled kingside, knight c5, knight g3, bishop d7. All in all, we have an equal game. Maybe white's position is slightly preferable, but tastes differ, you know. Here comes bishop c2, b4, knight c2, rook c8, f4, and bishop b5. Finally, Tal is finding an active square for its light squared bishop, but in return white is trying to kick away that bishop as soon as possible. We have a4, b3, and a takes b5. Well, if a move like bishop takes b3, then in the end of the day, after several exchanges, Black is managing to win back this central pawn. That's why in our game we have a takes b5 and b takes c2 by Tal. Queen takes c2, e takes f4, rook takes f4, and knight e6. We have a double attack, and it was in here that Segovia made a very important and aggressive decision, and he went for a queen sacrifice. Though I have to tell you that he could also move away his queen, allowing white to win the exchange, and even in this case white is doing okay. White has a compensation. But in our game we have this beautiful queen sacrifice, a queen sacrifice against the magician from Riga himself. And now let's see what's going to happen next in our game. Queen takes c8, d takes e6. And now Black has two main choices, either to play a takes b5 or f takes e6. Tal chose a takes b5, but according to Stockfish, f takes e6 is better. In this case, Black is allowing white to gain a powerful passed pawn on the 7th rank. But in our game we have a takes b5, and the downside of this move is that in this case this is allowing white rook to penetrate the 7th rank, and it turns out that this bishop on e7 is very vulnerable. How are you going to protect it? If queen takes e6, then knight d4 can be very unpleasant, or if rook e8, then this time white can play first knight f5, And then if queen takes e6, then knight d4 is coming. And again, all this looks very unpleasant for black. That's why Tal played f takes e6, allowing rook takes e7. So against a queen, white managed to get a rook and two minor pieces, right? Yeah, against the queen and the pawn. Rook f7 by Tal. Rook takes f7, king takes f7. Rook f2, though I have to tell you that typical positions are very easy to play with the white pieces. An active cooperation of white pieces, of course, can prevail over black queen. Queen c4, king h2. There are no potential weaknesses in white's camp, and that's something which is allowing white to gain advantage. King d7, all the time white is managing to find targets. Queen b4, knight c6, and after queen b3 we have knight b8 check. King e8, and this time the rook is penetrating the 8th rank. The single queen turns out to be unable to fight back, and gradually white is intensifying the pressure. e5, rook c7 check, king g6, bishop c3, h5, knight d7, and knight d8 by Tal, which is losing on the spot. Actually, this is allowing white to checkmate black king in 6 moves. Instead, it was better to go for the exchange of knights, but even in this case, black has little chances of saving the game. And then white can play knight f5, rook c6, targeting this pawn. But in our game we have knight d8, and now let's see how Segovia finished up our beloved world chess champion, ex-world chess champion. King f6, knight takes h5 check, king g5, bishop d2 check, king h4, and after g3 check we have a resignation. If king takes h5, then g4 check is coming, followed by knight g6 checkmate. Yes guys, it turns out that not only Mikhail Tal can sacrifice his queen, but also his opponents, and this time it was Tal who fell victim to his opponent's aggression. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to find the winning line for white. It's white to move, and I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you. Feel free to check them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.